All right. Continuing on with received pronunciation British dialect, or standard pronunciation. The major differences, and the ones we'll be covering today, are the substitutions of the consonant R and the vowel substitutions for the vowel A. So talking briefly about R. This is probably the most recognizable sound that the British make that we don't, and what separates us the most in our languages. The R is pronounced in words like work, word, hurt, shirt. They get shortened, so the sound disappears entirely. So instead of saying shirt, you'd say shirt. Shirt, shirt. Work, work. Work, work. Notice what your tongue is doing when you say it's kind of high, and it rests low in the bottom of the mouth. Work, work. And the British like to, well, the theatrical British like to linger on that sound. I went to work the other day and had a wonderful time buying shirts. Just spend time on there. It's a great trick, and it'll get them on our side much faster. We'll put that in some sentences in a few seconds. The other one is the letter A. Letter A is tricky because there's a lot of different sounds the letter A can make. For example, words like ask, answer, after, half, past, bath, demand. These are all going to be switched to that nice, posh, plummy British ah. Ask, answer, after, half, past, bath, demand, demand. Notice how long I spend on that second syllable. Demand. And the other sounds that A can make is words like all, law, ought, off, abroad, horse, George, force, remorse. You'll notice I have two different sounds there. Both of them get swapped out for this next sound I'm going to use in the British. All becomes all. Law becomes law. Ought becomes ought. Off becomes off. Abroad, abroad. Horse, horse. George, George. Force, force. Remorse, remorse. Remember that I said all the dialect moves to the front of the mouth, so you'll see that all, that's that feeling in your mouth when you say all. It's nice wide back there, like you've swallowed a light bulb. All. Bring that lip forward for the British version. All, 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 all. Law. Watch my lips. Ought, off, abroad, horse, George, force, remorse. For our switches, we're swapping out the R's and we're swapping out the A's. If you want help with this, we are going to put a little dialect thing at the bottom of the screen for this next section, because we're going to use these words in sentences. It's exciting. Here we go. Father passed down the primrose path. 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 The pastor asked that the answer be given by 4:30. The pastor asked that the answer be given by 4:30. The pastor asked that the answer be given by 4:30. That had the other sound in it, 4. The pastor asked that the answer be given by 4:30. I can't get the ant off the basket, but Auntie can. I can't get the ant off the basket, but Auntie can. This particular sentence has some switches in there that are a little tricky, so try and catch them. I can't get the ant off the basket, but Auntie can. I can't get the ant off the basket, but Auntie can. You'll notice that the word can't and can are different. Can't feels British. Can, just say like a normal American person would. Can. Aunt, auntie. Ant, aunt. Ant, the insect, is American. Aunt, the relative, is British. Next, moving on, this is the all sound. All who fear the law ought not to be punished. I'll fix that one. All who fear the law ought not to be caught. All who fear the law ought not to be caught. Now you can thank Stephen Dietz for never putting a sentence like that in your script, because you're not going to have to force that sound to the front of your mouth the entire time. After the pause, Paul felt remorse for his daughter left at the resort in Albany. After the pause, Paul felt remorse for his daughter left at the resort in Albany. After the pause, Paul felt remorse for his daughter left at the resort in Albany. After the pause, Paul felt remorse for his daughter left at the resort in Albany. And lastly, they saw that the water ought not to stain the wall in the loft. They saw that the water ought not to stain the wall in the loft. They saw that the water ought not to stain the wall in the loft. You'll notice that there are different uses for the letter R as well. So the R's we're swapping out are in the middle of the words like work, hurt, word. And the R's at the ends of the word, like fur becomes fur, and her becomes her, and car becomes car. So in words like year, you'll be saying e-er, e-er. And in British you'll be saying yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah sounds very posh, very plummy. Yeah. You'll be saying there, after, remember, dear, as dear becomes dear, oh dear. Raising the eyebrows helps, just a little bit. What happens when you have an R followed in between two vowels, words like sorry and character, and what else we have? Mirror and variant. There are two ways to go, and I'm not sure which way the production will take it. The first is tapping the R. Instead of saying very, you'll say very. Sorry. Character. Mirror. Variant. A tapped R is simply a D. Very. Sorry. Character. Mirror. And variant. You'll notice I'm not saying sorry like a Canadian. It's not sorry. It's sorry. Sorry. It's going to sound like a different word to you. It's like soddy. Soddy. Sorry. Now, more contemporary sounds, they'll actually pronounce that R in the middle of those two vowels. Instead of saying sorry, they'd say sorry, or very, character, mirror, and variant. But it's a very soft variant. Variant. Soft, soft R. Well, that handles A, O, and for you. And I'm going to add one more at the end of this segment because I think we can handle it. The last is this final Y sound. It's like an E sound, like in very. sorry, cautiously, ability. It's an I sound that they use instead. It's not going to sound totally different, but when you master this one, the dialect really takes off and people buy it a lot easier. So instead of saying ability, necessity, policy, many, berry, funny, make it an I. Ability, necessity, policy, many, berry, or Betty, and funny, funny. Funny, you should mention it. Funny. Instead of funny, funny you could mention it. You say funny, you could mention it. That handles 3 vowel substitutions, so good job. Don't move on to the next video until this thing is really mastered. We don't want to sound like the sentences we just practiced. We don't want to sound like we're trying to make the dialect. We want the dialect to come out of our mouths like we were normally talking, and we don't have to think about it at all. Make sense? See you next time.